Welcome to the Peopleverse podcast. I'm Evan Troxel. In this episode, I have a conversation with Mehmet Zenginler of Tantimber, live in the Tect booth at the AIA Conference on Architecture in San Francisco. I'm interested in your world, because I'm an architect, okay?
Sure.
And I could never know what you know about your product because on my projects, there's hundreds, if not thousands, of building products.
Right.
And I need what I need when I need it, right? Because I've got to basically make the building perform structurally, functionally, environmentally, all the different ways. So give me like the matrix download of what you're doing with Tantimber with this
Absolutely.
process.
Before I do that, I would like to say that even though you may not know about my product and my process, you do know about wood problems.
Right.
The expanding, the swelling, the contracting, the warping,
Right.
Insects, decay, mold, rotting. So we solve those problems with our product, with our process. We manufacture the product in Turkey. We buy FSC raw materials, so everything's sustainable. It checks all the environmental check boxes. The entire supply chain is FSC certified or PEFC certified. In addition to that, there's a patented process that's scientifically backed. There's data behind it. It's transparent. It's publicly available. There's a handbook behind it. It checks off a lot of the building requirements that architects have to meet and live up to, those expectations. And structural, when I think of structural, I think of durability, really. Our products are guaranteed, and anywhere from, depending on the 6 different species that we produce, Ayus and Uroko from Cameroon, from Africa, beautiful species. We do domestic species like oak, ash, poplar from North America. We only source our raw materials from a single source to maintain the color palettes and the quality of the products and so on. So that's sort of how we enter the market.
Okay.
With that sort of with the methodology of making sure that everything's environmentally friendly, it's durable for structural purposes, that it's reliable, so that architects can trust the product.
Yeah.
They put their time, effort, hours, their legacy, their personal brand behind those projects. Reputation.
Yeah, right.
It's extremely important. And with our product credibility and recognition and guarantee, they do that with a peace of mind. We're a well-respected brand in Europe with, exporting to 60 different countries.
Wow.
So, 600 containers a year.
Kind of a big deal. I mean, there's a lot going on there.
Yes.
This is one thing that I think a lot of design professionals, we take for granted, I'll say, but at the same time don't know a lot about what's going on out there, which is like the size of that operation. Because that right there, you have a reputation. You've got so much into this that it instantly you have that credibility if you can communicate that, or if somebody asks you the right question. If you were to ask me to list 5 brands off that are here on the show floor today, you'd probably hear the usual suspects.
Of course.
Because they've been doing it for so long, because they have the credibility and the reputation. And so there's so much other innovation going on. And I think one thing that architects need to understand is just what it took for you to get to where you are to even introduce a brand to them is substantial. And that is something they can actually rely on. I mean, that's advantageous to them as well.
Yes. Our biggest challenge, it's not entering the U.S. market. We've done it. We're very successful overseas. We just need to replicate the success here. The problem that we run into here in the United States is that everyone uses the word thermally modified. You have companies that take raw materials that are not FSC certified. They're just regular. I'm not even sure if they're properly kiln dry. They throw it in a chamber that is the size of my New York City apartment, and and for 7 hours, and then they're able to label it as thermally modified.
Yeah.
That is our biggest challenge. It's the market misconception. There's no science behind it. There's no data behind it. There's no process behind it. I'm not going to name anyone, but there are quite a few companies out there that are using they're using thermally modified and not doing the industry any good, any service, because it has actors, it is, and just for short-term profits, short-term gains.
Yeah.
That is our biggest challenge.
Okay.
To educate, we want to educate the marketplace on what is a proper thermally manufacturing process is. And what's trustable, what's not trustable, what's credible, what's not credible, what's actually guaranteed, what's not guaranteed, what there's its data behind, science behind it, what's not. It takes time. We've been in the market for less than 2 years.
Yeah. We
made a strong and immediate impact. Luckily, there are a lot of architecture firms that we work with overseas, our international brands.
Yeah.
They're familiar with our credibility, our products, durability, stability, sustainability, versatility, workability, you name it. They work with it. They trust it. They put their, like you said, their credibility behind it.
And so that's come into this market. It's helped you.
Yes.
I mean, it is better to have other people telling your story.
Of course.
It's they have a reputation. People trust them. So that recommendation is huge.
Yes.
Yeah.
Word of mouth is the biggest, marketing tool that you can get, and especially from a well-respected, experienced, credible an architecture firm who stands behind you.
And there's been a huge shift into a lot more wood, right? A lot.
Yes.
There's mass timber movement going on. Yes. The CLT, cross-laminated timber, panelized systems and manufactured architectural products, and all. So there's the overall kind of sense that this is a thing has got to be advantageous for you guys to kind of ride that wave at the same time when it comes to carbon and sustainability and all of those things. So when you guys are telling your story, when you're telling the story, I mean, one of the things that's so interesting to me as an architect and working with wood, we draw very straight lines as architects. All the lines are very precise, right? I mean, we're using technology that it's interesting because, the hand drafting was also like we drew straight lines then too, but the precision now is incredible because it's full BIM, 3D, everything's coordinated. And when an architect walks onto a site to see a wood building being built, they expect it to match those drawings.
Of course.
And as somebody who's built a lot of things out of wood, I know what it's actually like to work with said wood. And it is not straight. And this is one of the things that I think is so compelling about what you're talking about, right? Because what you're basically doing is you tell me. I want you to tell me the process. But basically you're making it so that my design intent can actually be realized. And I think that's something that all architects really want. And so part of the storytelling is like, it checks this box, this box, this box, sustainability, the requirements behind what kiln dried actually means. Like, it doesn't shrink, it doesn't warp, it doesn't do all these things. But the story is like, those straight lines that you draw? We can actually make that happen.
Yes.
Out of a wood building. So, like,
absolutely.
Elaborate on that.
We make dreams come true. That's nice. The way to put it.
I mean, and that is. I mean, you see the renderings when architects are presenting these projects, and it's like that whole bit that we're building mid-rise and high-rise towers out of mass timber now, right? And it's like, and as somebody who's been in the industry for 2 decades plus, it's just like, how is that like I can't even imagine the consistency that has to be there for the tolerances to work between all the different assemblies and all those things. And what you're saying is we make dreams come true.
We're very excited about the movement of this generation of architects are taking the lead on sort of like wood revolution, going back to wood, going back to those unique designs, profiles, and sustainability, environmental, eco-friendly, very conscious around non-toxicity and chemical-free products. And we're they're riding the journey with us, and we're riding the journey with them.
Right.
We promote sustainability and greener future, and we make it actually easier now more than ever. We make it easier for architects to work with our products. Now, we're going to be on Revit and BIM very shortly, right after this AIA event. We'll be officially be on there, all of our materials and stuff. It's very easy to find. But what we have created is a smart texture file that any architect can download and basically just drop and drag, and you can see the texture down to 60,000 pixels. So it is not only when it comes to their vision, their dream, but they can also, whatever they design, that becomes a reality because it's the real scanning of the product.
Yeah.
So that's just one portion of the question that I'm going to try to answer. Secondly, the process itself. So the modification process, as I mentioned, it's patented. It's been around for 20 years now, actually. It's an innovative process. We continue to improve on it. In short, it transforms the raw timber into extremely durable, dimensionally stable product that is also resistant to insects and bug infestations. So you're not just talking about warping and expanding and swelling, but you're also, your number one product, if you're a wood product, is, in addition to water and moisture, is insects and bugs. So our product also eliminates that problem, which is very important to mention. When you're building wood building, you need to be conscious of that.
Absolutely.
And you don't have to worry about it because it would require a lot of maintenance and care, a lot of replacement. It would very, very costly.
Yeah.
The idea of the wood becoming extremely popular again, it's very exciting for us. Not from a business point of view. We're already well established and we're doing amazing projects worldwide. But I am truly excited about the United States creativity and design and reducing the carbon footprint of this particular industry that I'm in. It is 40%.
Yeah.
It's mind-boggling.
Yeah.
Europe, we're obviously, and as a no-waste facility, manufacturing facility, we're FSC certified, PEFC certified. We take sustainability extremely, we deeply value it, and we take it very seriously. So one of our products is promoting greener future. One of our missions, our core mission, is actually just promoting greener future.
Okay.
And we were trying to solve the wood problems with our manufacturing process. That's why we entered the market. In Europe, they have European laws, regulations. It's a way of living. It's a way of thinking.
Right.
And it becomes so natural, even when you're from buying a grocery to building a brand new design. It is in their lifestyle.
Right.
So I'm just excited the fact that that is now becoming the mindset of this generation of our architects, which is amazing to see. From right out of the colleges.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
It's very cool.
The whole idea, you mentioned something earlier that I want to go back to for a moment, which is, you're talking about all these kind of things that your product addresses. When it comes to the partnership between you and the design professional, one of the things that we really value is the relationship of people to people.
Of course.
And that kind of partnership that a lot of times it helps architects who don't even know the right questions to ask when they first show up. Because there's this wave, it's happening, right? Especially in the Pacific Northwest, because there's an ecosystem that all has to evolve at the same time. Code officials, code adoption, zoning, all of these things are constantly in flux, and we're watching this new thing open up in the U.S. when it comes to mass timber and wood buildings, right? And going mid-rise, high-rise, all of those things. And so when a design professional shows up, how do you start to bridge that relationship gap? Because I would imagine most times now it's a first conversation. It's the beginning.
Of course, yeah.
And And a lot of manufacturers approach that from a transactional standpoint, right? It's like, I could get my product specified, we're going to get in this building, we're going to sell some products. And then there's this other mindset, which Tect and the Peopleverse, you as a partner with us, are promoting, which is service before sales, people before products, so that we can build long-term relationships and make sure that our reputations are solid. We can make sure that we're helping each other, right, be successful, because we should both win at this business, right? We can't win without each other. And so let's make that a long-term goal for everybody. So when people are coming to you in the very beginnings with a new conversation about timber, what are some of the ways that you, in your company, your reps, your category experts, are addressing those very first conversations so that architects do start to trust that you are the expert that you are, and they can come to you again and again and again over the next decades to help solve their problems when it comes to design challenges?
Yes. We're there to be a resource for any architect, any architecture for any project, whether you're building a doghouse outside or whether you're doing a high rise or a low rise.
Some architects do specialize.
We're just there to help. Our mission is sustainability, greener future, and whatever we can do to help you build something that promotes that and that is durable, and that's what makes us happy. Now, we do a phenomenal job of this overseas, and we intend to. That's why one of the reasons why we partner with Tech, and we're on the same page. We share the same values and same vision, and same, and we want to replicate that success here at scale with partnering with you guys, because we've it's great to be on Revit and BIM. You have all these coding and requirements, all these PDF documents and available as a resource. We're now also the platinum corporate member of CSI as well.
Right.
So the exclusive thermally modified wood category partner. So we want to get in at the specification, architecture, design, and planning at all of that.
You got to get in early.
Absolutely.
Because that's when the important decisions are being made that ripple throughout the rest of the project too, right? Yes. And so when you're talking about CSI and specifications, a lot of those are later phases, and they're important. But to even get to there, to be considered at that point, you got to have those early talks, and you got to be invited to the table early.
Yes.
Right. And there is a lot of value there, and
we often are. We often are, and we always do get invited back, because we're not there to sell. We're there to help.
You're adding value.
And we have a lot of these conversations where we're able to tell inside stories as to how we helped others with similar situations, or how we got creative around a particular coding issue or a particular,
that's the wisdom part, right?
Exactly.
Because if I go search your website, I'm not going to necessarily get that information, right? It's hard to tell those stories to everybody all the time at scale. It's like, those are the stories that actually happen when we get to talk around the table at the beginning of a project.
Absolutely.
And it's like, because this thing's going to happen, and here's how you're going to be able to address it.
Right.
And sharing that wisdom is a big deal.
Or if someone has already done it and ran into a problem at that particular time, maybe they didn't foresee it coming.
Right.
Maybe the laws changed, or maybe regulations changed. Maybe there was a new code.
Happens all the time.
Right. So we're able to educate them, inform on top of what we do and how we solve problems, and address their concerns around wood and building projects. We're also able to add more value just based on our experiences working with other architects in other areas. Or we even hear stories around, it's not even just wood, that it'll be a problem with a metal product or a structural product that'll affect our installation directly somehow, in some way, or the height of it.
Right. All those things.
It needs to be a conversation. It needs to be relationship based.
Yeah.
And we're going to the table as a resource. We have no intention to sell. If our product solves your concerns, great. We would like you to consider it.
Yeah.
There are a lot of other great products out there, depending on your budget, depending on where the project is located, depending on availability, depending on your specific profile,
lead time,
the size, the
so
thickness, the dimensions,
Right.
everything that you have to consideration. We may not be able to help. But if we added a little bit of value into your conversation, we helped you a little in a direction of creativity, or helped you acquire whatever you needed. We also have, yes, we're competitors, but we know the industry really well.
Right.
I may put you directly in contact with one of my competitors because I may not have the product. Our intention to help you.
Yeah.
We want to solve your problem.
Right.
And one way or another, we will do whatever we can to help do that. So, that's our mentality around that's how we're approaching our conversations with architects. And that's where we see value.
Yeah.
We're not a startup. We have no intention to become a Fortune 100 company. Our intention is to solve wood problems, create beautiful buildings, beautiful homes, beautiful parks, decks, ports, marinas.
Yeah.
You name it. You can build anything. Dog houses, like I said. Yeah.
Yep.
Outdoor showers, saunas, you name it.
Yep.
Applications unlimited. Birdhouses. That'll be the most expensive birdhouse you'll ever build. But
it won't shrink. It won't warp. Yeah.
Next thing you know, the bald eagle will come into it.
Yes.
You'll move into it because it's so good.
I've learned a lot during this conversation, and I want to underscore this idea that your goal is to add value as early as possible.
Correct.
And that is what architects actually need. Like that, to me, is the value of a platform like ours, is we're going to get them in touch with you when they want to get in touch with you because they have a question. Maybe they're not even asking the right question. Maybe they're just trying to kick the tires and see if this is even a direction they can go because they don't know yet.
Right.
And there's no penalty for them reaching out to say, what do I need to know about this product? Is this the right direction? Am I going in the right way? Or what do I need to know? And that to me is worth so much so early in the project because we don't know what we don't know. And then to go down the road of, well, did you know that this code has changed? Like, I would never know that, but that's your world. And you guys are on top of that. And so for you to convey that information to me is invaluable. And that is our goal, is to facilitate invaluable wisdom being shared. Because once they open up and they trust you as an architect, if we develop a relationship, you're going to get a lot out of me too. Because I've got ideas.
Right.
And I want to push something in this new direction. Can you help do that? Can you help facilitate that in your industry? Right. And you have relationships with other people in adjacent product verticals as well, because every building is an assembly of parts and these things do have to go together. And so it just opens up this really key foundation. It brings it back into the building industry, which I think we need so much because we are drowning in data. We're literally drowning in it. When our projects are, I was just talking to a previous guest and she is a lead specifier. They've got 9 offices. They're an international firm. And it's like the amount of information that goes into a drawing set is absolutely incredible. And that's the world that we're drowning in, right? And so to get a little bit of let's get this story straight so that we can actually make the right decisions early and they have the biggest impact going down the road. And that's what we want to make happen here.
You couldn't have said it any better. I'm going to say that our job should be to help you minimize waste, avoid duplication of efforts, save time, and help you build something beautiful.
Right.
That should be our new slogan.
Yeah. Let's do it.
That's because you're absolutely right. I mean, I can only imagine how many products go into a particular project and those specifications, those requirements, those laws and requirements that you have to live up to meet. And the fact that you're expected to stay on top of all of this is ludicrous.
Yeah. Stop trying. That's our message. Is actually stop trying, because if you didn't have to spend all your time doing that, what valuable thing could you be doing instead?
Exactly.
And we can easily make a list.
I already do that for you.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. Outsource it to the expert.
Exactly. We keep a very close eye on all wood codings and requirements and new laws and regulations around it, certifications,
Right.
the flame spreads, the fire treatments, anything and everything.
Yeah.
And we have all of the certifications, all of the data, everything that's needed from an architect's point of view to specify not only our product, but that our same product, similar products are available. Again, if we can't, my point is, even if it's not ours, still reach out
somebody,
because we can help.
That's perfect.
That's We're there to become a resource, and
Mehmet,
we just want to help.
This has been an amazing conversation, and welcome to the Peopleverse.
Thank you.
We're so excited to have you here.
Thank you.
And we'll put all the information so people can find out more in the show notes for this episode. And have a great show. It's so good to see you here and meet you.
It's been a pleasure. It's really exciting. What you guys are doing is incredible, and I'm so excited to be part of the movement.
Cool.
And that is a wrap for this episode. Peopleverse is powered by Tect and produced by Tect Media. For more episodes and access to the show notes, visit peopleverse.fm. To learn more about Tect, visit tect.com, where you can experience the shortest path from keyword search to local building product expertise.